Unimog northbound on the Canning Stock Route, 23 kilometres north of Well 40. Anybody on channel?
Headed home after 9 months on the road, we decided to take a shortcut down one of the world's most iconic four-wheel drive tracks, the Canning Stock Route. The Canning Stock Route is located in one of the most isolated and sparsely populated areas on Earth. We left Newman and travelled down the Talawana Track with the intention of going to Alice Springs along the Gary Junction Highway. At Palm Go, we checked the weather. It was 5 degrees Celsius in Alice, so we decided to go north up the Canning Stock Route to the warmer weather in Kununarra instead. The vast magnificence and sheer isolation of the area was astounding. The terrain was challenging, at times exciting, sometimes nerve-wracking, the experience like nothing else on Earth. They say there are 900 dunes on the Canning Stock Route. Some were low and easy, some steep and soft, with holes left from previous vehicles. This meant we had to drive slowly, but the truck handled them with ease. The Canning Stock Route runs from Halls Creek in the north to Wiluna in the south. It crosses 4 deserts: the Little Sandy, the Gibson, the Greater Sandy and the Tanami. In total it is around 1,850 kilometres long with 54 well sites. The isolation was part of the appeal. We had no deadlines and stopped whenever we needed to, often spending the night on the side of the track. When I ran ahead to take photos of the truck, it was just magical to stand in this great vast emptiness all by myself. In the early 1900s, there was a need to move cattle from the East Kimberleys in the north to the goldfields 2,000 kilometres away in the south. They could not go through the Pilbara as there was a problem with ticks. A new stock route was needed. Alfred Canning took on the task of finding a route with reliable water sources around a day's walk apart. Opened in 1910, it was a monumental achievement. But even then there was controversy over the tactics Canning used to locate the water sources. I often found I just needed to move. Running ahead of the truck to the top of the sand dunes to take videos became a fun thing to do. But as the truck drove past me down the dune, I just hoped Ian would remember to stop, pick me up. The worst problem we had were the holes created by other vehicles, destroying the track by bouncing their way up to the top of the dune instead of taking it easy. As the truck fell into the holes, we would get a lot of rock and roll. It was scary at first, but by the end we were used to it. We often stopped and sent up the drone to see what was ahead and take video and photographs of this amazing landscape. There was nowhere to land the drone and always a strong wind. This meant I had the job of being drone catcher. We had the guidebook to the track. On day 5 we saw we were approaching the most concerning part of the track for us, Lake Tobin, a large salt pan. Our truck weighs 8 tons. The salt pan has a thin crust with bottomless mud underneath. Breaking through would be disastrous for us. We had heard stories of other trucks being stuck for weeks, eventually having to hire a heavy construction plant to recover them, costing thousands. There were a number of soft spots, but we made it through without any problem. Gravity Lake is a large clay pan. We were worried it would still be wet from the recent rains. Turns out the track was dry, and in fact the smoothest section of the entire trip. There are vast sections of plains, kilometre after kilometre, dead flat. It was in no way boring though, as the vegetation continually changes. The advantages we have in being so high up is that we can see over the top of the bushes. In contrast, when we did the Anbidale Highway in our Land Rover, we felt like we were driving in a tunnel. We decided to spend the night in the middle of this vast open space. As the sun was going down, we took the opportunity to do one of our many photo shoots. We took every opportunity to do photo shoots. It gave us purpose every day to find interesting places to stop and do a shoot. It was a lot of fun working with Ian to create beautiful photos in this unique landscape. During the shoots, there was a sense of tranquility, peace, and I was freed of all restrictions, to be alone in this vast open space in harmony with nature. These are some of the photos we can share with you here. The track was closed in sections, with bushes and trees continually hitting the branch guards which protect our windscreen. We folded the mirrors in to stop them being damaged, and had the canvas screens protecting our Perspex camper windows. By the end of the track, the paint on the branch guards was worn off and the truck was covered in a sticky sap. The wheel tracks for most of the route are narrow and lined with spinifex and mulga sticks that threaten to tear out the sidewalls of tyres. We purposely chose the U1250 as it has a similar wheel track to the Land Cruiser or Nissan Patrol. Trucks that are wider may find it difficult with one wheel always being off the wheel tracks of the normal vehicles that drive the Canning. The corrugations on the track were endless and relentless. Between each dune there were sections of corrugations, but by far the worst were the sections that ran parallel to the dunes. A welcome break on day 8 to a particularly bad stretch was Braden's Pool. We were surprised to find a traffic jam at the campsite. We had caught up with the Outback Spirit tour group. It was great to have a chat, and one of the guides explained how to reach Godfrey's tank. It is a natural deep catchment discovered by Godfrey on the Canning expedition. We saw these engravings dated 1906. When we got back, another party of 5 had arrived. For us, it was time to escape back to isolation. In this vast landscape, people are few and far between. In the 10 days it took us to travel the track, we only met another 5 groups. Most impressive of all, though, was the convoy from the Outback Spirit group, running 6-wheel drive G-Wagons. We met this tour guide who had lost his swag. We found it a day or so further down the track. We gave it to the Outback Spirit group, who let him know they would leave it at their base in Broome for him to collect. We designed our truck for this type of travel. We had 290 litres of fuel in our tanks and 90 litres in jerry cans on the roof. We filled up at Newman, we put in 100 litres at Pine Go, and a further 78 litres at Kununarra. After driving 1,650 kilometres from Newman to Halls Creek, we still had around 80 litres left in the tank. This gave us an average fuel consumption of 27 litres per 100 kilometres. We carried 250 litres of water in 2 separate tanks. We also had a few cases of soft drink as well as long life milk. There is water available at some of the restored wells. Hauling water is definitely a 2-man operation. As we have a freezer in our truck, we carried ice creams. It was a highlight in our day to have one in the middle of the desert. Setting the correct tire pressure is important. On our truck we ran 20 psi on the front and 25 at the rear. One thing you can never escape are the flies, millions of them. One of the biggest risks on the Canning is fire. Spinifex sap building up on hot exhausts has claimed a fair few vehicles. After 10 days, we were glad to finish this epic journey. We were tired, but were left inspired to experience and share more of the magic this beautiful land has to offer. Thank you for taking this journey with us. We appreciate your support. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel.